All right. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever this video gets uploaded onto YouTube, not sure what time it'll be. Of course, yesterday I put out a video talking about the passing of Akira Toriyama, who passed away due to a brain clot, essentially on the brain, a blood clot on the brain. Excuse me. Um, and of course, there's been so much coverage of this story, which is completely understandable because this man is one of the most influential writers probably in human history. I don't think manga and anime would be where it's at today if not for this man. I don't think it would be as successful as it is today, especially in the West, especially internationally. I don't think it would be where it is today. But there is something that we do need to discuss. There's something that we do need to talk about now that Toriyama has passed, now that he is, in a higher place, in a better place. There is something that we need to discuss. And that is what is going to happen to the Dragon Ball franchise. And not just the Dragon Ball franchise, but really all the projects that Toriyama was involved in, such as Sandland, for example. Future Dragon Quest games. What is going to happen with Toriyama's stuff going forward? And there has been some misinformation put out there that I do want to correct. So let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. And let's just jump into it. And, if I'm a little bit disconjointed in this video, I do apologize. I'm still kind of reeling from this, still kind of in shock that one of my heroes, true legend, is no longer of this world. He's in a better place. But let's jump into this. So here I have a Twitter post pulled up, or an X post, whatever you want to call it. And this is saying that Sasuke Toriyama, who is the son of Akira Toriyama, is now the new owner for the Dragon Ball franchise going forward. There is a correction down here that says, first off, this claim is incorrect. There has been no confirmation to suggest that Sasuke Toriyama is taking over. Lastly, the picture shown is Go Nagai, not Toriyama. So there is some misinformation here, obviously. That again, it's just wild that the man has barely been gone for, he died on the 1st, but we've barely known about this for not even 72 hours. And it's like, bro, can we just stop putting out the misinformation? Stop it. So let's correct something here. Let's talk about this real quick. First of all, there has been no confirmation that anybody in Toriyama's family, neither his wife nor his children, are taking over writing or creating Dragon Ball going forward. First of all, I don't think his wife or his children are mangakas. I don't think they're involved in manga. So, again, I don't know why they would take over if they're not actually manga artists or writers themselves. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Second of all, it is likely, in fact, I would say it's almost definite, that Toriyama's family will still receive money from the Dragon Ball franchise. Absolutely. I don't doubt that whatsoever. They probably will have rights to the characters because Toriyama, unlike somebody like George Lucas, who sold the rights to Star Wars, Toriyama still held rights over all of the characters. He held rights over the franchise itself. He held rights onto all of this stuff. So I would assume that he probably set it into place to where those rights would transfer to his children or his wife. I would assume probably his children would make the most sense. So they should still receive money, royalties from the Dragon Ball franchise. So financially, they're good. They're fine. And for people that don't know, Toriyama was already a millionaire. Toriyama was already a millionaire before he worked on Dragon Ball. It was Dr. Slump, the series he worked on before Dragon Ball, which was more of a comedic series, that made him his millions. So it's not like Toriyama had to do Dragon Ball for the money. No. He did it because he wanted to write the story. He did it for the love of it. Toriyama was a millionaire before Dragon Ball. And then Dragon Ball made him, made him even richer, made him even wealthier. His family's good. His family is fine from a financial standpoint. Obviously, they're going through a tough time right now. They're grieving right now. And that's completely understandable, of course. But as far as finances, I would assume that the rights to the characters probably do transfer over to his family. So they should still be receiving royalties from this series going forward. Now, as far as like the production of the story and the characters, where does the series go from here? Obviously, we have Toei Animation, which is involved with the anime. We have Shueisha, which is involved with the production of the manga, and the person actually drawing the manga is, of course, Toyotaro, who has been drawing the Dragon Ball Super manga for basically since the Dragon Ball Super manga started, since Dragon Ball came back. A lot of people don't realize, a lot of people don't understand that Toriyama was not drawing and writing Dragon Ball Super, the manga, or directly working on the anime this entire time. He has been supervising the manga and the anime for Dragon Ball Super, but he's not been the guy pushing out the product every week. That's been Toyotaro who has been doing that. Or not every week, every month. I'm sorry, Dragon Ball Super is a monthly manga. That has been Toyotaro. What Toriyama has essentially been doing since Dragon Ball came back with Dragon Ball Super is that he's been supervising with notes. There's been certain plot points that he wants to have addressed. He's been coming up with character designs. That's been Toriyama's thing. Like, he would send over notes and information and plot points to both Toyotaro and to Toei, and they would look at the notes and stuff, and they would sometimes interpret these notes differently. That's why there's some differences, some pretty substantial differences between the manga and the anime at times. Especially if you remember going back to when Dragon Ball Super, the anime, was running week to week, there was some differences between the manga arcs and the anime version of those arcs. And that's why, because they interpreted Toriyama's notes differently. So Toriyama's been a supervisor. He's been the head of all this, but he's not been the one pumping out the product every week. That's been Toyotaro. Now, Toyotaro has basically been the apprentice to Toriyama, in the same way that Dave Filoni was the apprentice to George Lucas. So it would be my assumption that Toyotaro will continue to draw the Dragon Ball Super manga, but now that Toriyama has passed, Toyotaro probably is going to take up a more substantial role. Again, this is just speculation. I have no confirmation of anything, and I want to make this absolutely clear. There is no confirmation on the future of Dragon Ball going forward. There's nothing so far. We've got to nothing. Now, I expect something probably soon, probably within, I don't know, a week, maybe a little too much, maybe within the month. I don't know. But something fairly soon. I'm sure we're going to get an announcement about Dragon Ball going forward. But again, just my assumption, my speculation is that Toyotaro is probably going to take up a larger role when it comes to the manga, and he may be the one that's starting to come up with the ideas. Since he did work so closely with Toriyama, I think it would make a lot of sense that he would be the one that kind of takes over the story, comes up with the ideas, comes up with the plot lines, comes up with the character designs. I can see that happening going forward. Again, no confirmation of that. That is simply my speculation. As far as something like Dragon Ball Daima, Daima is probably far enough in production. In fact, Daima may already have completed production by now because it's set to launch later this year. Daima is probably so far into production that it's going to go ahead. And that is probably going to be the last project that Toriyama was involved in as far as Dragon Ball goes, directly involved in. I don't know that for sure. There is a possibility that the next arc in the manga could have had involvement, that Toriyama could have put down notes for the next arc in the manga, because we're about to enter the next arc in the manga. We just wrapped up the manga adaptation of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. That arc is coming to an end. Actually, it's already ended. We just got a chapter with Gohan Beast versus Ultra Instinct Goku, which was not in the movie, but is kind of bridging the superhero arc to whatever comes next. So it is possible that Toriyama, before his passing, already did have notes prepared and plot lines prepared for the next arc of the manga. So it's possible, I don't know for sure, but it's possible that the next arc could also be a Toriyama written arc. So that is entirely possible as well. Whatever that arc is, whether it's Black Frieza or whatever is supposed to come next, we don't know. I do wonder if he already had plans down for the end of Z material, you know, when Oob is introduced, stuff that comes after that. We don't know how far ahead Toriyama had this stuff planned out. We don't now, because the thing is, I do remember that when Resurrection F came out, Toriyama was already working on the Future Trunks arc, you know, with Zamasu, because he talked about how he made Super Saiyan Blue have blue hair, because if he originally wanted to give Super Saiyan Blue white hair, so it was going to be Super Saiyan White, but the white hair would conflict, it would clash too much with the next big enemy. And a lot of people think that next big enemy that he was talking about there when working on Resurrection F was going to be Zamasu, because Zamasu has white hair. So a lot of people speculate that that's what Toriyama was referring to, which means that Toriyama was already planning and writing out the Future Trunks arc even when Resurrection F was happening. So it is possible that he's already got notes. If he's been working in the same way since then, if he's been planning out future arcs in advance, even while the current arc is going on, it is possible that he already has notes down for a future arc of Dragon Ball Super. The next arc, maybe the arc after that, who knows? That's my speculation. We don't know for sure. We don't know how far Toriyama got in developing future plot lines. But the future of Dragon Ball is uncertain as far as where the story is going to go from here. I can say this with some confidence. Again, I can't confirm anything. Nothing has been confirmed, but Dragon Ball is such a major franchise that I have no doubt it's going to continue onwards for a very long time. You have to understand, like, Shonen Jump, Shueisha, Toei, like they created like the Dragon Room. Like they have an entire segment of their companies devoted just to Dragon Ball. They have an entire segment of their company devoted just to mapping out and planning the future of Dragon Ball. So I have no doubt in my mind that this series is going to continue onwards. It's going to continue forward. What it's going to look like, we don't know. It's not going to be the same, though. I mean, it's not going to have that Toriyama touch to it. That's obvious. And as much as I love Toyotaro and I respect Toyotaro, and I think Toyotaro's done the best job that he can do with this series, no one can replace Toriyama, just like no one can replace Lucas. I mean, I love Filoni, and I think Filoni should be running the show over at Lucasfilm, but he's still not George Lucas. And that's fine. They don't have to be. They can be their own people. But we need to grieve for what we lost. And hopefully we carry his legacy into the future in a respectful and honorable manner. And whatever comes next, I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that it does justice to Toriyama and his vision. And I hope it respects Toriyama. And I have no doubt that it will, because the Japanese culture, they're usually pretty honorable about this stuff. Far more than what we are in the West, unfortunately. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. When will we hear something officially? I don't know. I can't say. But I would think it would be sometime within the month. Probably. Would be my guess. Anyways. Thank you guys for watching. And Again, thank you, Toriyama, for everything that you've done. And I hope and pray that the people who take your franchise, take your series, takes your projects, and continues them, I hope that they show you all the honor and respect that you deserve with all of these future storylines and projects surrounding your works. That is my hope. I hope they carry the essence and the spirit of what you created forward into the future and do it justice and do you justice. And again, my condolences and my prayers goes out to his family and all of us that are grieving right now. All right, that being said, thank you so much for watching. This is JeskerJames signing off.